Today, we're going to be taking a look into Mark Dion and some of his artworks. So, the first thing to look at when studying really any artist is what motivated their art. What were some of their interests? For Dion, there were three major ones. First, he wanted to show how we as humans display nature outside of its natural environment. Second, he was interested by how we collect objects, whether it's natural, unnatural, we collect things. Third, he was interested to show how man-made objects can interact with the natural objects in that sense. So the work in the bottom right is an example of this. It is a large bird cage that actually had live birds flying around in it. If you look at the bottom and on the branches, there are books all over the place. These books are all related to birds or bird watching in some way. It's interesting how the books themselves are a way of collecting the birds. Drawings of them or statistics about what they are and what they do are a way of owning birds without ever actually interacting with the animal. They're man made objects put into a man made recreation of a natural environment, with the natural items themselves, being birds, also present. One of the most important art forms Dion makes are his cabinets. They challenge the role that institutions like museums can play in how the world is displayed. Nature, history, and culture are all controlled by the institutions that display it. Dion is able to open people's eyes to the way that information can be manipulated in this way. I think this is a very interesting way to go about bringing information to people. These cabinets were based on Wonder Cameron from the 16th and 17th centuries. So this next slide is an example of one of those Wonder Camerons, which means Cabinet of Curiosity. As we look at some more of Dion's work, take note of the inspiration that he derives from these cabinets and the way they display works of art and other curiosities. So this is another example of one of the cabinets that Dion made. Notice the variety in works that are displayed. Every shelf seems to have a different theme and just a huge variety of objects on display. However, they're still united by the fact that they are put onto this cabinet by putting them all in the same place and giving them a similar composition throughout. He unifies them all together and gives them a place to be. So Dion has a unique um, relationship when it comes to museums. He has labeled them as time capsules and has said that he agrees with their mission of preserving and displaying information, but he's critical of the influence and bias that they can have on viewers. In this instance, Dion was exploring how polar bears can be seen as either a fearsome predator or as a cute victim of global warming. The way that the animals displayed can completely change the way that people feel about them. If you display a polar bear and it's just eating a seal, it's going to be seen as fearsome. But if you take it and you show it on a melting glacier, it's people will feel sympathy. The way that things are displayed can completely alter how people perceive them, and that was a big thing that Dion wanted to show and explore. But not all of Dion's works were these sculptures or Wunderkammer, especially at the beginning of his artistic career. He was a printmaker, and he also used colored pencils. He explored many different mediums. Something interesting that I notice is how often in this side of his artworks he uses a red and blue color scheme. This artwork has a similar theme to his future works, being that of collecting. So this was a print, it was in an edition of 30, and these are some of his colored pencil works. Notice how they keep the red and blue color scheme that was just in the print, as well as the box and the labeling. All of it is a very similar style that he had, even though they were years apart. You can see the eagle was made in 2019, whereas the vivarium was from 2002. It's a very notable style that he's maintained over the years. So his first major exhibit was called the Tate Thames Dig. This is when he and a group of volunteers went outside and combed the beaches for anything that they could display. They found a huge variety of items, including toys, pipes, and dishes. Each item was then cleaned, cataloged, and displayed as if it were an official archaeological dig. You can see in the shelves how they're still categorized by similar items, much like the cabinets we saw earlier. On to some of his awards. Dion has received numerous awards, starting at a Bachelor's of Fine Arts and an honorary doctorate, and then some more prestigious ones, such as the 2001 Larry Aldrich Foundation Award, the Joan Mitchell Foundation Award in 2007, and the Smithsonian American Art Museum's Lucinda Award in 2008.